Welcome, everybody, to another podcast. This is Two Amazon Sellers and a Microphone. My name is Chris. Dustin is currently gone for the weekend, so I'm riding solo this week, today. But joining me, I got Jana from YLT Translations. Jana, how's it going?
Hey, Chris, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I was just talking to you a few minutes ago, and I was like, Jana, you're everywhere. You just Google your name, and you've got a lot of videos out there and a lot of good information out there. So I appreciate you taking the time to join us. And this is a good space because this is a space sellers don't usually think about doing to their listings when they want to expand internationally. It's like the last thing they think about is, they want to expand internationally, but they forget about doing the listing and having that listing translate. But before we get into all that, tell the audience about what is YLT Translation and what is your service? What is unique about it?
Right. So we are very specific. We kind of niche down to Amazon translations only. So we are the Amazon dedicated translation agency that helps expand to all international marketplaces. We cover basically all global marketplaces where Amazon has its presence. And I know a lot of people don't think about language and content and stuff, but we basically take care of that for you.
Nice. So a seller would come to you and get their listing translated for all the international marketplaces so that it made sense.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get this question a lot, but what is different? Like this happens. Why can't I just use Google Translate? And what happens there?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, this is still a problem, and a lot of sellers are still using Google Translate or Amazon translations, which are machine automized translations, and then they don't get good results. And thanks for that, we have a lot of work. But the thing is that when you launch your product and then you use Google Translate or machine automated translation, just remember how weird you feel when you read like a Chinglish translation, and how does that feel to you? Well, this is how your listing would look like to the most audience, like in Europe or Mexico or Canada, wherever you want to expand. So machine translation can do certain things in a good way, but it doesn't understand your brand. It doesn't convey the message of your brand. Like especially if you want to do like A+ content, which like brand registry is like really big now. And, I'm sure a lot of you know that, HTML description is going to be canceled like in June in the UK, in July in the US. So Amazon has been pushing people into, putting much effort and investing in a brand registry. And just think of like, investing a lot of money and just using Google Translate to translate that template into, let's say, German or Spanish or Italian or something like that. Because that's just really wrong, and you're going to spend a lot of time and money to fix that. Other than just doing the right thing, like doing like proper human translations with keywords prior to launch. So Google Translate and Amazon translations are not your friends. And also, what's very, very sad is that a lot of sellers who are like very successful, like we work mostly with 7-8 figure sellers. And a lot of them, you would be like, okay, so you know everything, you're a big seller, and now you want to expand. So they come to us and they're like, well, here's a list of keywords that we've done, and can you just translate them to, let's say, like Spanish or German for me? And then, a lot of people don't understand that, like, if you just translate them as they are, it doesn't necessarily mean that they will also be keywords on this other marketplace. Usually there's not the same keyword combination, even if you compare US and UK. So, for everyone out there listening, like, you can just do me a favor and go to Helium 10 and just gonna, do the research of the same keywords in the US and for the UK marketplace. And I'm sure they will not be 100% identical, especially when it comes to, spelling, like, spelling mold in British is with OU and mold is with O in the US. And that also is going to make a lot of problems if you're just going to take the UK mold to the US and vice versa. So it's never a good idea to just translate things as they are, because I like to say, like, the beauty of Amazon translations is that it gives you a little bit of liberty. So you can have like somebody's like text or like basic listing, and then you can build it up a little bit. You can rewrite some parts. You can adjust it so it sounds better to the German audience, for instance. Of course, you're not going to use the same idioms, and what do you get when you use machine translation is that they'll just literally translate specific word or phrase just so it sounds literally translated the same in the target language. Or if you say, like, I don't know, if you want to say, like, my business is like in the niche of, like, it's a blue ocean. So, like, blue ocean makes sense, like, in English, but like in German, it doesn't. So if you put like blue ocean in your listing, people will not understand what you're saying. And people are not going to buy things they don't understand. They're just going to go to the next listing. And I mean, me personally, I would not buy a product, no matter how much I like it, if I don't understand the content, and especially if I'm selling like supplements or like beauty products, healthy products, baby products. I would want to know and understand what are the ingredients, what are some possible indications, how to use it, how to apply it. So I would not be buying something that I'm not 100% sure that is explained well, or if it has like some mistakes in, like, say, ingredients, because like Google Translate and machine translation, sometimes they would translate like different ingredients the same, because that's how they would read them. And and that's just really, really wrong. And it can get you like in a lot of trouble if you just gotta use a product that you are not sure what's it made of, basically.
Yeah, if you confuse the customer, you're going to lose them. They're not going to buy anything. They're going to move on to the next product.
Exactly.
So that's super important. That's super important. And you're right. Like if the title is wrong or if it's mismatched, I'll go on to the next product and I'll buy something different because I just got confused. I'm not really sure what they're selling. So it totally makes sense. What's different though? Like UK versus Germany versus Japan, like where is the marketplaces differ? How are they different? Are you seeing different like translations of keywords in the front of the title or the back of the title? What makes each marketplace different?
Well, I would like to begin with basically just the style and the type of the way you're addressing your target audience. Like, for instance, like the US style is very salesy and fluffy, and people are kind of pushed into buying their products. And Germans, they just hate it, and they don't understand that style. So like if you want to go into like, I don't know, like sweet talking into your customer to kind of make and love the brand, Germans will not understand that, and they don't like that. Like Germans are like more like straightforward, like show me the benefits of your product. How does it solve my problem? Don't go all like metaphorically, speaking to me. And I like to always show an example of this like, glass espresso cup that we did I think 2 years ago. And so like the US original listing was like this cup will make your grandma feel warm in front of the fireplace when it's cold. Like this is literally the first bullet. And for the German one, it was changed to just thermal isolated glass. That's it. It means your fingers won't burn and you'll enjoy your cup like your granny in front of your fireplace, right? And also there was like all the bullets were like that, and they were like it was cool for the US marketplace, but then like for the Germans you have to be like stylish design, thermoisolated glass, it's not a heavy cup, it's not, it can fit in your log, like in your cupboard or something like
less
that.
Emotional.
Yes, less emotional and more functional. Like, how would you benefit from this product? So basically, like if you have anything in your listing, such as like buy it now or like pamper yourself in luxury, super cute, blah, 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 adorable, like you should really avoid that. And I know it depends on the product, because like if you're selling like plushy toys for kids, of course you have to use that language in a certain extent, but you have to be really, really careful with that. So I would say that like one of the most important things that people don't understand is the difference in style. And that's why you need to localize your listings. Because like, localization is basically a different, it's a different area in its own, but you have to incorporate that in your listing. And that's why like, you maybe want to hire a German copywriter to do a German listing for the marketplace. You wouldn't want to hire someone who learned the language and then like does the copywriting. And that's why, like, for instance, like we do like localization done by like native translators, because they understand the marketplace. And a lot of times, like, sellers would be like, well, we did this listing and it's not working. Like, I don't know why is this not working. And I remember I sent this to my team, and he was selling like Mr. and Mrs. t-shirts and matching items like that. And my whole German team was like, we hate these products. Like, this is not what Germans would buy, And this is also another thing, if it's a bestseller, one doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's a bestseller like anywhere else in Europe. Usually bestsellers are in the States are bestsellers in Europe, but there are some categories that this like won't work. And like an interesting thing is that toys, for instance, is like absolutely one of the best categories you can sell in Germany, but it's not one of the best categories you can sell in the States. So if you're selling toys in the States, I highly recommend that you go to Germany, any sort of toys, especially like the wooden ones. And then like if you like are selling like the wooden ones, then you should like emphasize that you are selling wooden toys, not like plastic ones. And especially like German audience, they still can appreciate that if you have like made in the States or like made in USA product, that shows like quality, and they would buy that over a product that doesn't have like unspecific origins, or probably think that's coming from China and something like that. So I think that definitely Germany would be a really good marketplace for like wooden toys, are maybe made in USA, or just overall just wooden toys. So that's also very important, and that leads me to Japan, of course, which is such a super specific marketplace. But like if you have the right product, if you can really if you get the bestseller for Japan, you are winning. Literally, there are like no competitors over there. Like PPC is insanely cheap, and but you just have to have the right product. And what I also like to say is like you don't have to do like this crazy market research. I don't know what tools, who to like hire and stuff. You can just like go to like a Facebook groups with like expats, and then like ask them like, would you buy this product? And like, why wouldn't you buy my product? And then you can actually hear the opinion of like from Japanese audience. But from the experience of what we've been done so far, usually like the products that are just regular products would not work in Japan. Like we've had like some neon crazy like it's like protectors, like when you do like MMA and stuff. But those like neon colors, and they look like they're like from a cartoon or something. So that went like crazy in Japan. Or some other products that you think maybe that those are kind of weird. Well, maybe people in Japan will love those, So that's something really to think about. Or like, like it was like a couple of years ago, it was like a cover for the phone with some like crazy big ears and like some like wings, but like so over exaggerated. And people in Japan also love that. Or like crazy shoelaces and stuff like that. So those are all the products that work very, very well in Japan. So you really have to do a little bit of research. It doesn't take that much time. Your VA can do that for you if you just hand out the guidelines. But you can save a lot of time and money prior to launch if you do your research the right way. And of course, the keyword research has to be done separately for each marketplace. And that's also like one of the good things that I like to mention between like the difference between like marketplaces when it comes to keywords. Because like, for instance, like we like to use Helium 10 and as most sellers also do. Yeah. But the thing is like when it comes to, yeah, of course. And when it comes to German language, and also like now the new marketplaces such as like Dutch and Swedish marketplace, these languages they have the Germanic root. And that means that these languages have a lot of compounds in their languages, like the long chunky words that basically consist of 2, 3, or even 4 words. And a lot of times you can express like the whole sentence you would have in English in one word, let's say in German. So the thing is like that these tools that give us like the keyword research results, they are not optimized for different languages, because everyone began with like US marketplace, and that's how all other languages work. Like if you want like a long tail keyword, you're gonna get like 2. You want to put like 2 as a word count because you want at least like 2 of those words in your long tail keyword, right? Well, for German, that's not exactly how it's gonna work. So in Helium 10, like word count is set on 2 by default. So you're gonna get like 2 separate words. But the thing is that a lot of German words are compound words, and a lot of really good keywords are going to be compound words, which means they're going to have result as like one word, and you're not going to see them in these results. So what you want to do is like do the research for like word count is 2, and then go back and then do research again as number 1. And then you kind of merge all those like 2 lists into one Excel sheet, and then you'll get a complete list. Because a lot of sellers would think like, well, I've covered this is it, and then they're like, well, why does my competitor have this word? And why are they ranking for this one and I'm not? So this can be a very big problem that a lot of people don't know that actually, occurs because they don't speak the language, and their VAs don't know this. So this is something that we've noticed that a lot of people really, how people miss on really important keywords in German, for instance.
That's a big tip. If you don't know what she's talking about there, rewind and go back like the last 15, 20 seconds, because basically what that is the Cerebro tool, the keyword research tool, it defaults to 2 word count in Helium 10. And if you just change that to 1, you'll find more keywords that you can then add to your title or add to your bullets for the translation of a German listing on it. So rewind that if you missed that, because that's a big, big tip right there. Now, I'm assuming you mentioned Germany a lot. Is that the most like requested or most popular marketplace you're seeing growth in right now with people?
Yeah, so especially after Brexit. So what's happening with the UK market right now? I mean, not even before Brexit, it was not the biggest one. So the biggest one after the US was Germany and then Japan. So UK was, let's say, like 4th or maybe sharing the 3rd place with Japan. So basically, so now after Brexit, the UK marketplace is kind of very isolated. And if you want to sell there, you have to have the inventory over there. And if you want to sell in the pan-European program and like the whole Europe, you'll have to ship the inventory and have the products set over there. So that takes also, that makes a lot of difference for a lot of different clients. And I see that a lot of people don't want to like do the UK anymore. They're just like, no, just go to Germany. And so I just think that Germany is still gonna strengthen the position and like the dominant marketplace in that area. And what's also very important is that it's not only you're selling to the German audience, but I like to call it like a 5-star marketplace, because you basically get the access to people outside of Germany, like in other countries that don't have their own Amazon marketplace. They get transferred and redirected, and they buy from Amazon.de. So that's why it's like also it's like the biggest marketplace in Europe, because like Lithuania.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah. All of these other countries, people buy from Amazon.de. And now that Amazon has rolled out a couple of new marketplaces like Sweden, Poland, and the Netherlands, and a lot of these countries, they also were able only to order from Amazon.de. But the German marketplace is really the one that everybody goes to as number 1, as like their kind of top priority. And even if they don't want to do like other countries, they would still go to Germany for sure, especially now after Brexit, because it's kind of tricky to have like inventory here and over there. And I've talked to a lot of sellers, and now they're telling me that imports and stuff, like when you send the inventory to the UK, it can take like up to 2 months for products to reach the UK. So a lot of people now focus on Europe, and Amazon has been pushing international expansion lately, and pushing sellers into expanding. And the newest marketplace that's going to roll out pretty soon is Turkey. I was on a call with Amazon last week, and they're just about to roll that out. And I'm pretty sure that they're going to do a lot more in Europe.
So if I am a seller. So if I'm looking to expand, it used to be, let's just go to UK and I'll take over all. Are you suggesting now skip UK and go to Germany?
Well, you know what? It really depends. Like, you want to ship your inventory to the UK because it is a good market and it's also English. You would just kind of need to optimize that with the UK keywords and maybe a couple of different expressions. So it's clearly the easiest way how to expand overseas, to go to the UK. Of course, before that, you can have Canada. If you're like in the States, like you can have Canada, you can have Mexico. This is what a lot of people do, and then after that, they go to the UK and then Europe, and maybe some people would go to UAE as well because they have a good category for their product, for instance. But it really UK would be good because it's still English, But for instance, like what's very interesting is that UAE can also be English because you can target expats. there are a lot of expats in UAE, like Dubai. Like there are like a lot of companies that send their like people to Dubai, like especially from the States and from the UK. And then people over there, they just they rent apartments, and so they need some like furnishings, and they need tons of stuff like home decor. And this category has maybe just a couple thousand products right now. And if you can offer like better pricing than what they usually can get like buying that in store, and I mean UAE is an expensive country. I'm sure you can land like some good sales over there. When you compare it to like the US home decor and furnishings category, it's like over like 20,000 products or something. But like UAE has like literally like 5% of that, and you would not need to change anything because I mean, according to the cultural relationships and like history and stuff, it is tied to the US. So I would just keep the listing in the US, have the US keywords. There are no research for the UAE, and you can just leave that in English, and you can just offer the same things as you're offering in the US as well.
If I wanted to keep things separate, like if I wanted to keep my states, ASIN and UPCs all separate, would you recommend creating a whole new like ASIN and UPC code for international marketplaces, or do you just simply use the same ASIN and just kind of keep everything bundled together and just translate the listing for those marketplaces?
Yes, I would definitely recommend that. And that's also because of the global reviews. So basically, if you launch the same product like in Germany, if you have 10,000 reviews, the product will be launched with those 10,000 reviews. This is something that Amazon did like almost like a year and a half ago, because usually earlier it was like only local reviews, and it was much more difficult to launch new products on new marketplaces. But now, like literally, like if you're building, maybe you've built, I don't know, like 4.2 star reviews, and you have like 5,000 reviews, but this is it. You just think this is your limit on the US marketplace, because like the competition is insane. But then you might try your luck on somewhere else, but those reviews will stay with you, those good reviews. So if you have good reviews and you don't think you can do much more on one marketplace, that's the best time when you can go and expand to somewhere else.
Do you help with any packaging, like translations? Like if I have a product that has packaging and I need to get the packaging translated to fit that marketplace, is that a service that is offered, or is that relied solely on the seller?
Yes, so we also offer that. Basically, we cover every content that's in English, like follow-up emails, packaging, ads, translation, like basic. Yes, inserts, everything you want. We even create flat files. We do voiceover, text and images, basically everything. We get you covered for all of the aspects that you need when you are on a new marketplace. So basically what's important about packaging is, I mean, this rule has been out there for the whole time, but nobody was following this rule. And then Amazon decided that no, now it's going to be obligatory that when you have packaging in English and you want to ship it out to different marketplaces, it has to be on the language of that specific marketplace. So what a lot of people do now is like they use kind of seal and peel, and then they put like let's say 5 European languages on the packaging, and then you can send it like all the way. But if you don't have the language on the packaging, your product will not be shipped to that country. So that's a really kind of big change that they made.
That's a huge thing you can miss over. That's like, you might want to get that figured out now if you're trying to do international.
I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but this is, I mean, I haven't spoken with anyone who told me like, well, my packaging has been returned, but a lot of sellers are like, this is it. Now they're like, they're putting this ban on this, and we need to do the packaging translation. So that's something that, if I were to send the product down to Germany, I would have a little like snippet of German text like glued to the packaging for sure.
So if a seller's going to go internationally, Germany is probably one of the better marketplaces to get their feet wet in, followed by the UK. Sellers that are going internationally, they usually have a good core base of ASINs already that sell really well in the States, and they're just trying to increase their revenue by hitting up different marketplaces. The issue I'm bringing up here is like, if I come to you and say, hey, Jana, I got 15 ASINs that I want to get translated to Germany. Am I going to get any type of like feedback? Like, hey, maybe you don't want to do all 15 of these. Let's just do like these 5 because there's better demand for just these 5, and these other 10, it'd just be wasting your time. Or are we going to do all 15 at one time? Like, what kind of are you going to help, or is there a way to prevent me from launching a product in a marketplace that just doesn't have the demand yet?
Honestly, we don't do product research or market research, so I would not know, because we work with like more than 4,000 listings every month. And I mean, if I had the answer to this question,
yeah,
I mean,
you'd be,
yeah, like sometimes like I do give feedback based on what I know that works or doesn't work. Like, let's say wooden toys. But I cannot know this like for absolutely everything else, because we do know, like, sometimes we do get like info and data on like what's selling, what's not, what's doing good. But a lot of cases, like, especially if it's like a new product on a new marketplace, I don't think you can know this. Like, sometimes sellers are like, can you ask your team? And then, I just ask my team, like, because they're like, oh, let's say Germans. And they're like, would you buy this product? What do you think of this product? Is it something that Germans use? And then they're like, yes or no. We had a situation with, this was like an African snack. It was called like I don't know, like chit-chit or chat-chat or something like that. I've never heard about it, and we didn't even know like what flavor was it. So we had to do like tons of research. And one seller was, she wanted to like do like 5 flavors of this product for Europe, like specifically. She's like, all sorts of food fly in Europe. It's like a specific marketplace, but I want to do it. And it was a huge success. And we wouldn't, be able to give her feedback. We're just like, I really don't know. I don't even know what this product is. But this lady was like, I want to sell this. I think this could go well. And it went insanely well,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So back 4,000 listings a month, huh? That's a ton.
That's a lot.
How big a team you got working? How big a team you have behind you?
We're close to 80 people now.
Wow. Okay. So I'm a seller. I come to you and I say, Jana, I want to do this ASIN. I want to go to Germany. What's the next steps? What do you do?
Basically, we just need your ASIN numbers, or like you can just list them as they are if they're live, or you can just like send us an Excel sheet with the content. Everything flies for us, and that's basically it. This is how you get started. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. What's the turnaround time usually?
Let's say 5 ASINs to, let's say, 5 marketplaces. Let's say like Japan, Mexico, Germany, France, and Spain. It's going to be like 8 to 10 days. Oh. But then when we're talking about like 10 or 15 or 20, it's going to be like, I don't know, 11, 12 days. So basically, it's not going to be a big difference between like 10 ASINs and then 30 ASINs. Like, yes, 100 ASINs is going to be a little bit longer. Sure. But since we have like a really big team, like we can handle like a big volumes of work. And if you have like a seller who has like bless you, and if it's a seller who has like I don't know, you're going to be like, I have 5 ASINs, but we're going to roll out like 5 more in 3 months, and then blah blah blah, and then go on, and just to kind of increase your brand like that. We're going to make like a dedicated team for your brand. So we're going to have the same people always working on your brand. So we don't have like different styles and like, people like
different messaging.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's different. It's much different. And we also have like a proofreaders. So what's very important is that whoever is doing your translation, you need to kind of have a proofreader. But what's even more important is to have 2 set of eyes check your translation. Because translations are a very subjective thing. Like I can say like, okay, this translation is fine, but I don't like this style, and I would use this synonym instead of what this person used, which doesn't necessarily have to mean that this translation is not good. But then if you send it to another proofreader and the other proofreader says like, oh, this is a good translation, yes, it's a different style, but it's fine, then you have like this kind of 2-step verification where you'll know that the translation is really good. So that's also what we also do. Like we double check the translation so that we get like 2 green lights from 2 different people. And then like, okay, this is going to be fine. So when somebody like returns the listing and says like, my aunt from Spain says that this doesn't make much sense, that you are doing a good job, and this aunt from Spain just, doesn't get it, like a lot of the marketing sales copies, A lot of times, like when it comes to keywords, I'm not gonna say it's gonna like the listings is gonna sound weird, but sometimes because of keywords, some things might be a little bit off, and that's okay, especially if you have like some super high-tech product that has like really crazy keywords that you really have to have it in your listing. So you have to adjust the text as much as possible, so it makes sense. But of course, sometimes it will not have that absolute natural flow just because keywords might be too difficult to fit in. And then when somebody's reading that from a side, it'll be just like, well, this is kind of, maybe this should have been said like differently. But then from the marketing and from the sales aspect, it makes perfect sense because that keyword might bring you like tons of sales. And maybe because of this keyword, your product will pop up and people will buy it.
Do you optimize current listings, or are these all just brand new listings? Like if I'm already listed in Germany, and I'm like, I don't know if if my listing's right. I used Google Translate because I was on a budget and I wanted to just try it myself.
Right.
And now I need some help. Can I take my existing ASIN to you and it's like, hey, Jana, can you fix this up for me?
Yeah, sure. This is what we get a lot. So it's either like, we want to do translations, we haven't done anything. And two is like, we did a launch, we did a machine translation. It was horrible, no results. We like tons of money and time. And this is what we get like very often. So like a lot of times people just like, can you check our listings? Then we give them feedback. We're always more than happy to double check all of your listings that somebody has translated for you and see how well they could be improved. Or if they're really good, we're going to tell you like, look, it's good, because it's not always a good idea to optimize something if it's already doing good or ranked for something. So we're not going to do that just because we would like to, take your money or something. It's just like you want to do something because, we want to help someone. So basically there is a lot of things that could be improved all the time. And we do both, So after this feedback, we tell you like, I think bullets should be rewritten, or maybe you want shorter bullets. Somebody wants to read a novel and a bullet, and like you need to reconsider the keywords. And one of the often mistakes that we see is that people repeat keywords a lot. Like they would put like top 3 keywords in the title, and then throughout like the bullets, let's say they have A+ and like that's it. So basically, you want to focus on your bullets. They would just like use 2 different keywords and repeat it all the way throughout the bullets, which you of course shouldn't do. And earlier you asked me a question about like the title, if it's like different for different marketplaces. Usually it's not. I mean, there are some like I would say supplement categories that in German, like you would want to like have the not. I mean, this is just how you put the title. Like you first want to have like the size or the number that's contained in the package, and not like at the end, like as like a lot of US titles do. But this really differentiates from product to product. But I mean, whatever you do, you really want to start the title with the strongest keyword. And then you want to put like, as many keywords as possible. And what we also like to do in Helium 10, for instance, is that we go to Frankenstein, and then you can, so this is how you can find the highly converting keywords, because a lot of people, what they really don't realize is that high search volume keyword doesn't necessarily have to be the highly converting one. So like, let's say you have to use brand analytics as well. Like Helium 10, it's fine, but you also have to use brand analytics and then compare. But if you want to do some sort of combination, you can go to Frankenstein and Helium 10, and then you can put like, let's say you have like 5 competitors. It's not a big competition in the marketplace. You put like top 5 titles of those products, and then just you want results per one line and remove duplicates. And then you're gonna get a list of highly converted keywords. And then you just select which ones you want to use. They're not gonna be long tail ones. They're gonna be like single ones, but the algorithm can combine, like those keywords like between themselves. So if you have like a bonsai tree kit in the title, I suggest you don't put like the bonsai tree kit, or then I don't know, like small bonsai tree. You don't need to repeat all of this, because if you already have this once, you can just next after that dash, you can put like small or cheap or functional or kids friendly, and it will all combine with the bonsai tree kit like once it's there. And also what we've noticed is that in Europe, for instance, caps lock still can be used in bullets, so they can still fly. It's not gonna take your listing down. Whereas in the US, of course, they will. And when it comes to restrictions, European marketplaces are much easier to deal with. They're like 10 years behind the US. And I'm pretty sure that when they roll out restrictions, it's going to be US only. And then some of those rules survive and then they're applied in Europe, but all of them are not. So you will be dealing with less hassle than you are in the States.
Yeah, you mentioned that caps issue. Are you seeing more of those listings come through as getting suppressed or inactive because of the caps issue? Are you seeing more sellers come to you about that, or is that just
no? Like in Europe, it's fine. It's fine in Europe. Like nobody gets pulled down because of caps lock. No, not at all. But in the US, of course, you can't use that anymore. In Europe, like all the rules for health problems, issues, not use antibiotics, Poland, not saying that something is going to work and heal your whatever sickness you have. All of those rules apply, and they can be very, very tricky. And Amazon comes up with new things all the time. And just recently, we had a problem with the product. It was a mop. And in Italian, I forgot the word because I don't speak Italian. It's a proper word how to say a mop. Like there's just like you would use it in English. But somehow this and the seller didn't know this, and neither did we, that the word for mop in Italian is trademarked, and you're not allowed to use it. But the plural mops is okay to use. And also the whole category in Amazon is called mop and mops. So
wow.
Yeah, so that was like very interesting. And all the time, we get something like that. And this is also how we kind of update on all of our, we have like this big restricted areas in Words document that we just kind of upload all the time. But then you just gonna hear all of these amazing things that they just decided to cancel, overnight, literally.
So we talk about a lot from US to international. Are you getting anything from like German sellers that want to come here to the States, or is it mostly just all, sellers in the States that want to go international? Do you work the other way around?
Yeah, no, we don't do it for the US marketplace. We don't do any of those like for Germans to the US. We used to do that earlier, but there are so many other people that do that, and I'm probably they're like top of notch like for the US copywriting creation. And we're just gonna focus like more on foreign marketplaces. But there are a lot of Germans, for instance, that want to sell in the US. Also, like a country that has tons of Amazon sellers, very successful ones, is Lithuania, for instance. There are like tons of Lithuanians that are very successful at it. They're also like all selling on the US marketplace as well. So a lot of sellers from from Europe, no, they sell in the US marketplace, of course.
Got it. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the process. I mean, you're doing 4,000 listings a month. I mean, that's plenty of proof that you've got a lot of people coming back to you numerous times for more ASINs. Let's touch on some like before and after. Like before, this guy was doing, 150%, whatever, and then you increased his sales by 500%. Like some good case studies. Is there any certain case study that sticks out?
There was a seller. He was quite small, actually. He was like doing maybe like 5 figures or something like that. That was like a year and a half ago. And I've met him personally. And when he reached out, and I'm like, you know what, let's do it, because we don't usually work with smaller sellers anymore. And he was selling like this, like a baby shower present, like a box or something, like with box with like teddy bears and like whatever you can like give to a newborn. And then before that, he was just like using a regular translator, just regular words, and that's it. And then he didn't get any of the keywords in it. But what's also important is that he didn't get any proper keywords, because he was like doing like this baby hamper for girls and for boys. And a lot of times, like for the keywords, you have to use like teddy bear for girls, like that's an actual keyword, and you have to use it, even though like the product is like could be universal, but you want to put like the for girls because it's pink, or you want to say like for baby girl teddy bear or something like that. So like just by putting like the girl into like into the keyword, you would get less competition for those keywords, but they were converting so good. And in like 6 or 7 years months, he got like literally like I can pull it up. There's like a case on my computer. I always love to show it. It's like 200% increase in Germany, and all of the other marketplace kind of follow the same success. Just because a lot of people also want to rank for all the keywords that your competitors are ranking for, and they just don't use the less competitor ones. And for instance, for this product, this was a complete jackpot because this was something how people would look for, the like different gender presence. So this was something that was very, very good, for instance, like as a strategy to use in the listing.
I'm on your website now. You got a lot of good stuff here. One of the things that I want to point out is you have a free listing analysis where somebody you can basically they can upload their listing and they can get analysis. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. So you can just upload that on our website, just write on ASIN and just tell us like, oh, what do you want to know? And we send out this little PDF audit form with, what's the condition now, what should be improved, what we should do, and the quote of that and how we move forward from that.
Cool. Well, tell people how they can get in touch with you. I got the website pulled up here. It's YLT.translations.com. How else can they get a hold of you?
So you can contact us. There's like a contact form on the website. If you have any questions or if you would like any sort of advice, you can reach out directly to me. We have like our Facebook page, like YLT Translations. We have like tons of updates about, any sorts of things happening on international marketplaces. Like, if you like the information I had today, I get it like all the time. We gotta try to be updated all the time. Also, we're on LinkedIn. And you can definitely reach out to me on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. Like we're basically on all social media. So whatever you guys need, you can reach out. And also my email is jana@ylt-translations.com.
Cool. I have all that in the description. So anybody watching, anybody listening, you can go to YouTube, check out this video. All that stuff's going to be in there for you to reach out to Jana. If you're a 7 to 8 figure seller, and you're probably selling internationally, but you want to get more exposure and increase, reach out to Jana and her team. I'm sure that they can probably increase your sales pretty quickly. Just by doing this little interview, I could tell Jana is very passionate about this. So this is her.
Very much.
This is her niche. This is her niche. This is her spot. So Jana, thanks for coming on. We're going to have you back on. I'm sure Dustin's going to watch this and have tons of questions. So we'll get you back on. But I appreciate your time.
Perfect. And one thing just for the end, I'm going to speak at this year's Prosper. So nice. If anybody wants to go and hear like more advanced stuff and some like really cool hacks about international marketplaces, you can reach out to me. I have a code which gives you $100 off.
Perfect. Yeah. If you haven't been to Prosper, you need to go. It's the best place to be for Amazon sellers.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, we'll end that there and we'll be back at this hopefully on Monday.
Perfect. Thank you so much and have a great weekend, guys.
You too.